Well, I have done my typical late start of the day kind of thing. That was not what I had planned today. Had a few things I wanted to do, but before we do any of that, I want some coffee, so I'm going to get some coffee going. I wonder what it looks like outside. Let's take a peek. Let's peek through the curtain here. Yeah, the day's in full swing. I'd better get going too. Well, it can't be too terribly late because I did hear somebody say good morning to somebody else outside. So other people still consider it to be morning time. Oh, you know what I really need to do? I'm going to turn this fan on. With this stove running, it really heats up the inside of the van here. So let me turn the stove off for a minute, turn the fan on, get some of this heat out of here. Supposed to be a pretty nice day out today. I am in Eureka, which is in Humboldt County, Northern California, and one of my favorite places to be. The weather is usually always really nice, and it's supposed to be nice again here today, which is why I'm still here. So I normally like to drink coffee that is local to the area that I'm in, and I have been. I've been drinking some really good coffee that is roasted in just the next couple of towns over from Eureka here. And the only reason that I'm not drinking that anymore is, well, when I ran out, I remembered that I had bought a bag of coffee right before I left Seattle, and this is one of my favorite kind of go-to coffees when I'm in the Seattle area. It's from a grocery store there, and since it's been kicking around for a few weeks now, I figured I should probably just crack into this and drink it up because coffee doesn't last forever. Freshness really does count, and so I don't want to keep it just stored forever. So I'm gonna drink this and enjoy it before it goes stale. Hopefully it's not too stale, but I do grind all my coffee right before I brew it, and I think that that kind of helps with keeping it fresher longer. That's one of those things, and then I just keep it wrapped up tightly in the bag it came in. Yeah, so hopefully this will be good. And then once I get through this bag, I'll buy a little more of that local coffee. So the tentative plan for the morning was to, one, get up early. We didn't do that. Two, make a really good breakfast. That didn't happen either. Although I do have some yogurts here, so I will just eat a little bit of something. Although my coffee's just about ready to brew here, or done brewing. The third thing I wanted to do this morning was to wash my hair, and I don't wash my hair very often. I just do it usually once a week. I'll really get in and give it a good wash. Otherwise, I usually just kind of wash it with a towel, washcloth, and that does pretty good normally. But it seems like lately my hair's been well, I shouldn't say my hair, my scalp has been a little bit dry. So I'm having trouble with this AeroPress because, well, one, I'm not standing up, so this is awkward to push this like this. There, we got it done. But also, two, I reuse these filters. Actually, let me show you. I reuse these little filters for the AeroPress, and sometimes they get clogged up. Oh, I forgot. Last night I made some decaf coffee, and I find that the decaf coffee clogs these up, and then I usually can't use them a second time. That actually worked this time. I'm surprised, but we'll throw that out because it felt like it's full of just coffee grounds. So let me clean this out and get back to what I was saying. If I could remember what I was saying. Get up early, no. Breakfast, that'll be in a can here. Oh, washing my hair. So I thought I'd wash my hair this morning, and I was going to skip it, but since I've skipped everything else, I think I'm just going to actually wash my hair. Just take a few minutes. kind of feels like I should get out and get going. But then again, my scalp has been just a little bit itchy lately, so I've been washing it just a little bit more. I wash it maybe 2 or 3 times a week instead. And that seems like it's a better thing, at least for right now, with whatever I've got going on. So washing my hair is a little bit fiddly. I just take some water in a little pan here, heat it up on my stove, and I'll use this warm water in a little kind of makeshift shower. So I've got this old Dr. Bronner's bottle that I poked holes in the top of a little lid, and I just did that with a needle that I heated up on the stove, and then made a bunch of little holes there. So made a little shower head out of this. This is not a regular Dr. Bronner's bottle. It's made out of polypropylene, and most of the Dr. Bronner's bottles are made out of a much kind of more glass-like plastic, and I don't think that those work very well. Actually, I've got one here. Those are not as pliable as this type, and every once in a while I see one of these bottles at a discount store like a TJ Maxx or a Marshall's, and that's how I bought this. It was a really good deal. It was like $10 for this, and it's a huge amount, 32 ounces. So pretty good deal. And then I realized I could reuse the bottle for something else. I guess I could have taken it to the co-op and had it filled with Dr. Bronner's, because that's the cheapest way to normally buy Dr. Bronner's, but this has been really useful. So the hardest part of this is just heating up water, which I just kind of stick my fingers in here until I get it to a nice comfortable temperature. I have burned my scalp a couple of times when I didn't pay too close of attention, so just gonna mind this for a minute. Once this is warm to my liking, I can go ahead and put it in the bottle and have my little shower for my hair. Hair shower? Washing my hair shower? I don't know. I was gonna go somewhere with that, and then I lost the plot. But I think you get the idea. I'm just realizing now this sink needs to be cleaned. I think my whole van needs to be cleaned. I like to take everything out and give it a really good cleaning every now and then. And I think we're up to either the now or the then of the cleaning time. Okay, I think I'm all set up here, and I normally don't use shampoo. I use Dr. Bronner's bar soap. I use the regular Dr. Bronner's Castile soap, and if you haven't heard of this, it means you're not a hippie. And I'm not necessarily a hippie either. There's a bunch of things that I don't agree with hippies about, but their soap I really do like. It's just a really natural soap with natural fragrances added to it. There's nothing artificial about it. And I find that the regular soap is not so great on my hair, but the bar soap is, and so this is normally my shampoo. So I'm just going to get my hair wet a little bit here, and then, well, you know the rest. I'm just going to lather up, right? If you've never used Dr. Bronner's, it comes in several different scents, and I normally always use the peppermint variety. It does have some added menthol to it, so it gives you a bit of a zing. Being that my scalp has been getting a little bit itchy from time to time, this really seems to calm that right down, and the bar soap anyway does seem to kind of hydrate my scalp a little bit. So that's why I use it. Okay. And that's job done. I made a little bit of a mess because I'm kind of in a hurry, but the nice thing about having a sink in my van is I can do all of this right in my van without having to get out for any reason. And so that's one of the reasons why I have really liked this sink. You know, there's a funny story about this sink when I went to buy it. It's from a restaurant supply store, and I went to several restaurant supply stores and I did just what I did right here in the store. I just stuck my head in the sink and thought, like, can I get my head in under the faucet, you know, and use it that way? And this was the first sink that I found that I could do that I could comfortably get my head under the faucet and actually run the water. The reason I didn't do that now is because it's chilly at night, and so the water that comes out of my sink is pretty cold. So if I stuck my head under cold water, I would not be very happy. So that's why I have the little makeshift shower head here, and it really works quite well. So enough about this. Let's get a little Dr. Bronner's product in my hair. This is actually hand lotion that I use, and we'll get out and go walking somewhere, because we need a really good long walk. I think we are ready to go. So Eureka here has one of my favorite city parks of any city parks I've ever been to in all of my travels, and it's like 4 blocks away from us right now. It's called Sequoia Park, and I've been there a ton of times. So I think instead of going over there, we're going to go see another little walking area a little farther away, but I think it'll be worth the drive. So it looks like we've got about a 15 or 20 minute drive out, and we're going out to the Elk River, and it is the Headwater Forest Trail, I believe, is where we're going. I know very little about it, and that's kind of the way I like to go see a new place. In fact, that's what I did when I stopped at Sequoia Park, which is just a few blocks away here. The first time I went there, and I was just blown away by how incredible it was. If I'd have looked up any information on it, I would have seen how great it was, but it was such a nice little surprise just to get to a city park that I expected to be just ordinary, and it be absolutely spectacular. So we'll see if we have the same thing going on here. And just to mention it, this is very typical of a place that I would park at night. We're parked next to a convalescent home. There's a store here right up in front of us. So this is just a very typical place that I would park. So I do this all over Eureka. Eureka's a fairly big city, so this kind of parking is pretty available everywhere around here. That felt longer than a 20-minute drive out here. Maybe it was, but it was just about perfect, and I know that because I almost finished my coffee. I've just got 2 sips left. Well, while I was thinking this was a late start for the day, seems like everybody else is on the same schedule that I am, because everybody pulled up here right after I did, so the parking lot's half full now. Lots of people around. This is a popular spot, so I should have guessed that. Anyway, let's figure out the trails. So we are at the Elk River trailhead, and there is a map over here, so I figure I'll get acquainted here since I didn't do that before. So they've got a nice map of the reserve here. We are, of course, up at the northern entrance, and I do know that the southern entrance is a reservation only. In fact, the only way to get into the southern entrance is to not only make a reservation, but to actually have a guide go with you. You have to kind of be chaperoned. So now that we've got a lay of the land, let's take a little walk. So just a couple of things if you are planning on heading out here to the reserve. I have no cell phone service, and I suspect that there isn't going to be any coverage with any of the carriers. I'm on Visible, which is Verizon. The other thing is, even though this is BLM land, there is no overnight camping. There's no camping whatsoever out here. It's a little unusual for BLM to not have dispersed camping, but that's the way that is up here in Northern California, at least this area of Northern California. Not like it is down in Arizona or Southern California, where you can disperse camp. So just a couple things to know if you do plan on heading out here. Other than the occasional bird screech, it is really quiet out here. I can just barely hear the river off to our right. I think that's the river off to our right. There are two trails here to take. The paved one that I'm on is just over a mile. I opted for this one because, well, I'm old and slow nowadays. Oh, this is nice. This is a little diversion. I think it'll take us down to the river. Getting a little history lesson here, which is cool. Let's walk back and see Charlie and Lolita's old house. Well, I guess the old house is gone. There's just the shed here, which is a recreation. But this is very cool to see this. And I can't get over just how quiet it is out here. It's just so incredibly peacefully quiet out here. Can you imagine living out here full time? This would be a dream, just how peaceful it is out here. Although I do think that it might be maybe a little bit difficult in the wintertime. Also, things to worry about like bears and elk. And I think we've got cougars out here too. So lots of animals to complicate things as well as the weather. But right now, I can't imagine a more peaceful place to live. It's so quiet out here that everything in my pockets is just making a huge racket. I carry a ton of different things in all my pockets. One of the things I added was a little snack. I might as well just eat this because it keeps crinkling and driving me crazy. Plus I haven't eaten much. So I'll just eat this and solve one of the problems right now. So I just got a little clarification on the trail. What I was saying earlier, I was misunderstanding how the trail is. The first mile, 1.1 miles, is paved, and then the other part of the trail is unpaved. So I was thinking that there were two trails, but it's all the same trail. It's just partly paved and partly not paved. I think the paved part is perfect for anybody with mobility issues, although there are a little bit of up and down hills, but it's really nicely paved, at least to the point where I am now. So I'm just past the halfway point right now, and I'm tempted to turn back around and go make some food, but I'm enjoying this so much, I'm just gonna ignore the hunger pains and keep going. Oh, this is so incredibly enjoyable, but I am getting to be a little bit too hungry. That Lara bar was not the right thing to bring as a snack. It was one of the sweeter ones with chocolate in them, and I think I prefer the ones that are all fruit. Well, fruit and nuts, but anyway, it's a little bit of fuel to keep me going. Hopefully it'll be enough to get me back to the van, and we'll cook up something good to eat. This will be a slow walk back to the van too, because I'm enjoying this much too much to just run through this. This is fantastic in here. Just absolutely beautiful. Oh, I am starving Marvin. I need to get something made really quick. I think I only did about 3/4 of a mile out, so not a very long walk here, but my intention, my plan was to just walk out a little ways, come back, make a sandwich, and maybe take it with me out to do the whole mile and then back. But being as I'm not doing anything to plan today, that's I guess why I didn't follow the plan. But I will make a sandwich now. I've got some of this really good local bread. This is a sourdough made by a local food co-op here. There are 2 locations actually. One of them is here in Eureka. The other one is in the next town over, and they're both just excellent. I search out food co-ops when I travel from place to place, and I have to say that this food co-op, it's called I never remember the name of it, North Coast Co-op. It is one of the absolute best that I've found anywhere. So I tend to shop there a lot when I'm around the area here. And like I said, either location is just incredible. They're both a little bit different, but they make their own bread. They've got a really good meat department. So yeah, just all in all, just a fantastic store. And I think I'm just going to do my quick thing of a cheese sandwich. So this is one of those meals that is nothing special. I just need something to eat to keep me alive. So just cheese and really good bread. I've got some of this really good mayo too from Chosen Foods. It doesn't have a lot of garbage like most mayos have. So nothing spectacularly great except for I'm going to add some Yellowbird Serrano because this will make this much better since this is so simple. You know, while I eat this, I should probably get the kettle on because we're going to head back into the big city. So I'll have some road coffee, and I think I'll use the big mug too because that little mug wasn't enough coffee for me this morning. Yeah, I put a new filter in the AeroPress this time. Let's see if this one presses easier. Yes, it presses a lot easier. This one is just regular coffee, same coffee that I made this morning, if we are calling that morning. I think it was morning, so we can call it morning. So since it's not decaf, I should be able to use it several more times like I am used to. It is awkward pressing like this. If you're standing upright, pressing the AeroPress through is really easy, but it's just this angle here, this awkward angle you're kind of leaning over. I have had a couple of times where I've almost tipped the cup over because I wasn't paying attention. A lot of times I'll have YouTube going and I'll be watching something while I'm doing this, and that's when the problems happen. I'm not watching YouTube right now though because there is no cell service here, so I have no way to be distracted. I also have no way to know if somebody's calling me or texting me or if I'm getting emails. But it is pretty nice to not have to worry about that. Let's see, let's put this to the side. It's pretty nice not to have to worry about that. Just to know that I have a little bit of time away from being inundated with phone calls and text messages and emails. The emails are getting out of control again. I gotta say, this coffee is just so incredibly good. I almost bought 2 bags of this before I left Seattle, and you know, the only reason I didn't is just because of the freshness factor with it. Anyway, if I didn't mention the name of this is El Metro Espresso, and it's from a chain of grocery stores around Seattle called Metropolitan Market. So if you are around Seattle and you like light roast coffee, this is definitely one that I would recommend highly. It is light roast, so it's not everybody's favorite type of coffee, but it certainly is mine, and I miss it when I can't get it. So it's one of the nice things about being around Seattle is I can get this. The other benefit with this is it's very inexpensive. It goes on sale for $10 a bag, so it's probably the best premium coffee price that I've found anywhere. I'm just about ready to take off here, but I do need to refill my water. All of my drinking water runs through a water filter here, and it's almost empty, so I'm just going to do that. I should just say that there is no drinking water here at this site, so that's another thing to keep in mind. At least not any drinking water that I could find. I keep a jug back here. It just sits between my bed frame and the back door, and it's this Reliance water tank. I think they call them a rhino. There's a little picture of a rhino on the corner of it. It's the only reason why I remember the name. But it holds 5.5 gallons altogether, so it's pretty nice. I can just keep it filled up, which keeps me from having to run to get water if I come to a place like this. I know I have some for backup. Wait a minute here. Did I say Reliant or Reliance? It's Reliance, if you're interested. And there's a better look at the rhino. Although, does that look like a rhino from here? It doesn't right now. This has really been quite enjoyable. This might become my new favorite hiking place. My old favorite hiking spot, anywhere, not just in Humboldt, got closed down because of a landslide, took out the trail, and actually made the parking area unsafe as well. So I can't even get back near it anymore, which is a shame. That was out at the Lost Coast. So this is actually a little closer to town, so this would be a nice backup, I think. Could be my new favorite. We'll see if I come back here dozens of times like I did my old favorite. But I think that is it for today. We'll take off and head back into town before it gets too late in the day. I do have one small problem. I don't have any service, and I forgot to make sure I had an offline map downloaded, so I have no map to try to guide me back. So this is going to be all up to my memory on how to get back to town. I think I figured it out. I just turned my phone on airplane mode, and then that brought up the offline map. Why did I not know how to do that before? But anyway, now we don't have to worry about getting lost. We'll be okay.
Head northeast.
Okay, we're back in the city, and I was not thinking ahead. I knew I was going to come back to this area, and there's a water fountain. You can see it right there. I could have got water out of the water fountain. Nothing has gone to plan today, though, so I think we're keeping a good theme going on. Anyway, let's do a little bit of walking, and then I'll make some dinner, but I feel like walking a little bit more. Okay, slight change of plans. The kids over here that are playing baseball just knocked a ball over and into the streets and almost hit the car behind me. And that's worrisome because I've got solar panels up on top of my van and I don't want to get those broke. So we're just going to move around somewhere away from the line of fire of the baseball field here. Then we'll go walk. Okay, I think this is better. I just moved down the street just a bit away from the ball field, so this is a little bit of insurance. I can't be too careful. Now the other thing is, can I get across the streets without getting run over? Yeah, okay, I thought I was going to have to play Frogger there, but we are safe. So we're just going to do a quick walk here. This is the zoo right beside us. We will not be going in there. I try not to use the word hate, but when it comes to zoos, I don't mind saying that I hate zoos. I just have a real disdain for them, so we're going to skip that. But right up ahead here is Sequoia Park, and it's a really nice place to walk for a bit. There are a bunch of little trails here through this park. That one is kind of a little ring road that goes around the park, but since we have been walking on the same type of trail, I think we'll do a dirt trail that we can access right down in through here. It's a nice pretty little walk, and it'll give you a good view of the park here and show you why I like this park so much. It's almost impossible to show this very well on camera. These trees, of course, are redwood trees, and they are just massive. So this might make you a little bit dizzy, but hang on, and I'll pan up here, just give you a little view. One of the attractions of the zoo here is not just the animals, but the skywalk here behind us. This is not something that I want to ever try. It's about 100 feet off of the forest floor, so a little too high for me, but it is very popular with people. We'll get a little view of it as we walk underneath it. I don't know if you can get a sense of just how high that platform is, but that is up there. I read it was 100 feet, so I think that that's correct. But it's tall, and the fact that some of those platforms are movable, they kind of just sway as you walk, would really kind of freak me out. So definitely not something I would ever want to do, plus that would involve me going in and being a patron of the zoo, which I am totally and utterly against. So I've got a few reasons of not wanting to go on that walk, but there's plenty to see down here, so we'll just walk around down here where the ground is nice and firm. You do know that you're defacing city property, right? Oh, yeah, okay. 2 days ago I was walking down here and found a couple of trails that I'd never noticed before. It just seems like there's dozens of trails that just zigzag through the whole park here. It's just incredible. I don't think I've ever seen a city park as nice as Sequoia Park here is. If you know of a better one, you can let me know, and I would like to go visit it. But it's kind of a tall order, I think, to find a nicer city park anywhere. I am a little bit biased, though, because this is my favorite area, and I do really like redwoods. So it's probably always going to be my favorite park. But you never know. Keep an open mind, right? Okay, back to the van. Let's jump up top here. Yeah, our solar panels are good. We did good by giving ourselves a little insurance and getting away from the ballpark. Now it's taco time. So I'm gonna make some very simple tacos. I have some potatoes that I have par cooked that will be part of them, but I'm gonna start with the corn tortillas. Boy, I don't have very many, 3. Okay, it's gonna be a light dinner. I may need 2 dinners tonight. I had 2 dinners last night too, so that's okay. Normally I like to double cook the tortillas. I've had a bunch of questions about that. People have asked me how I've got my tacos to be so crispy. And if you want them to be crispy, you have to kind of think about them like French fries. So you know, good French fries are double cooked. You kind of want to do the same thing with tacos if you want them to be really crispy. So I'll fry these off quickly and then set them aside, and then I'll work on the ingredients. And actually, depending on how hungry I am, I may put them back in the pan and crisp them up a little bit, or I may just eat them not so crispy. Let's hold off on that. But if you want them to be crispy, you can always just put them back in the pan, give them a second fry with the ingredients that you're eating in them, and that'll make sure that they're hot all the way through and really nice and crispy on the outside. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to skip that, but we'll see. I'm just going to use olive oil for this. Sometimes I use coconut oil, but most of the time I just use olive oil. Okay, so these only took about 20 to 30 seconds on each side because my oil is good and hot. So let me just turn that off for right now. You can see they're not really crispy. I don't know why I'm using the tongs here. They're not really crispy right now, but they're good and pliable. But this will add a little bit of extra flavor to them and will make them not crack when I fold them over to turn them into a taco. So I've got the potatoes in here. I've added a little bit of butter into the oil that was remaining to the pan, just because I like the flavor of it a little bit. And while that is crisping up and browning up, I'm gonna chop up some cabbage here. I like the red cabbage. And then what is gonna be the protein is a couple of eggs. I got these Nellie's free-range eggs. I don't know if these are any good, but they were on sale. So $4 for all of these seemed like a decent price, at least the way egg prices are nowadays. And here is dinner. They're nicely overstuffed. Definitely not enough. 3 tacos is definitely not enough for dinner, but get me started anyway. And to finish these off, I'm going to do more Yellowbird, of course, because it is my favorite hot sauce. This time I'm going to use the jalapeno. I go back and forth between these two, and every now and then people ask me which is my favorite, is the Serrano or the jalapeno. I can't choose. They're both equally good. It just kind of depends on my mood, I guess, at the time. My mood right now is saying jalapeno. So just a tiny amount of Yellowbird will finish these off and make them extra tasty. I've had the door closed just because there's so much traffic out here, but I want the door to be open. There's not a whole lot of light left for the day, maybe a couple of hours. And I like being outside as much as possible. So when, well, there is a lot of traffic. When I am sitting in the van, my preference is to have my doors open always. So the doors are back open. I was very happy to find those eggs on sale, although I ended up using 3 eggs and not 2 because I realized that they're a little smaller than a regular egg. I think they're like medium size instead of a large. So maybe that's why they're cheaper. You know, they're maybe closer to a dozen in actual size, but still a good deal, I think. So I'm gonna wash my plate up with some vinegar. This is just plain old vinegar. And I find that that works really good on this enamel plate. But because I fried up those other things in my pan here, this is actually an enameled pan itself. This is a Stobe enamel cast iron pan. But because I fried up some stuff in here, it's got a little bit of stuff that's stuck to the bottom. So just to make this a little bit easier, I'm just going to scrub it out with a little scrubby. This is, I think these are agave fibers. I try to buy stuff that's not plastic because that way I can clean it out immediately when it's still hot. But I was too hungry to clean it out immediately. Normally I wash as I go, and I did wash a few things, which is why I only had the 2 dishes left. But anyway, just getting around to doing this one. So I'm just using a little bit of Dr. Bronner's again. I keep a little Dr. Bronner's in this pump here. I don't think you can see that, can you? It's just off camera. But add a little bit of Dr. Bronner's, a little bit of water, and a little bit of elbow grease. Nothing really sticks to this pan very much, but especially with this good strong bristle brush and really good soap like Dr. Bronner's, this pan cleans up really quick and easily. Now, since I bought this wooden cutting board, I've added treating this to my dishwashing procedure. Normally you use mineral oil to oil these from time to time. I don't have any mineral oil, but I do keep some castor oil around for other purposes, and so that's what I've been using on my cutting board. This is probably not the right oil, and I'm sure somebody's going to tell me I shouldn't be using this, but it works fine. I just put a few drops on to the board and then rub it in with a little bit of paper towel, and it soaks right in. This was dry, probably because I normally clean this with my vinegar solution. I use the same little spray bottle. This is just a bottle that I got and refilled. It doesn't have alcohol in it. It now has vinegar in it, and I just use this to clean up. Use it to clean up my countertop, my dishes, my board, everything. The one thing I didn't do is the sink, but I'll do that tomorrow, maybe. I think the traffic might be lightening up a little bit. It's probably because it's getting to be late in the day. It does almost seem like it's getting dark sooner today than it normally does. Maybe there's a storm coming in. I don't know. It's kind of normal here in Humboldt to have some fog roll in at night, so that might be what we're looking at right now. That's why it's probably getting to be a bit dark out. While there's still a little bit of light out, I want to do a little bit more walking. There is a garden just down the block here that I've never actually walked through, so let's go do that. You know, I've just noticed that my salt lamp here kind of looks like a little fireplace running, which I think is kind of cool. I just leave that on because I figure once it gets to be this time of year and the weather gets to be a little more damp, having a little bit of heat kind of helps dry it out a little bit. So I just leave it on. It doesn't use too much power, so that's why I just go ahead and just let it go. There's definitely some fog rolling in. I really like this kind of weather. It's actually feeling a little bit chilly, which is just fine by me. The only reason I haven't walked around in here yet is I thought it was part of the zoo, which is right here behind us. So I avoided it because of my crazy hatred of all zoos. But this is a nice little park. It's very pretty, and it's the right time to be here because there's nobody else around. I imagine it's going to be closing anytime soon here since it is getting to be dark. Oh, nuts. They got this blocked off. I was hoping to get some change for some laundry later. Oh well. I think I called this a park. This is actually a garden. I should be using the correct words. Anyway, it's a very pretty spot, and it's getting to be extra chilly and a little dark, so we should probably find our way home. And I'm not sure where home is going to be, but this is a nice part of town here, and this reminds me of something that I just wanted to mention. There's a lot of people that talk poorly about Eureka, and I think Eureka gets kind of a bad rep from people. Eureka's a big city, not a huge city, but it's a big city, and there are good and bad neighborhoods here, and so the bad neighborhoods are definitely bad, but like up here, really nice area up here. I parked just a few blocks away from here last night. That's why I parked here last night, because it's a nice, safe area. And I just wanted to show that a little bit, because usually when I talk about Eureka, people like to try to tell me it's a dangerous place and all. If you go down to Walmart's, not such a great area. In fact, the North Coast Co-op that I like so much, that area is not so great. So, you know, I do my shopping and I get out and come back to one of the neighborhoods like this. And there are more neighborhoods that are nice and safe too. So I don't like to see cities get bad reputations just because people don't get out and see all of the city. There are definitely lots of areas of Eureka that do not reflect that bad part of town. So I do encourage you to get out here and check it out if you possibly can. Now, let's get home. So technically there are no parking restrictions on this street, and I've always been kind of tempted to park here overnight, except that, as you just saw, at night it seems like people just fly along here, so it's not really the most comfortable place to park. Also, there's a school here, and I try to avoid parking overnight anywhere near a school. So just for those reasons, I haven't tried to park here. I guess also because nobody ever parks here at night. So that's another reason that kind of makes me think, I don't want to be the only person that parks in a spot. I generally only park in areas that have lots of people around. Like last night, I parked near the store and that retirement community just because I know that there's going to be a lot of people moving around. Workers always are going to be around, and so I kind of like that. It makes it feel more comfortable. Even though this is a safe part of town, there's still, we're still in a city, and there's still always the possibility that somebody might try to break in or just mess with the van. And so that's just one of the things that I do. I don't think about this a whole lot, and I don't let myself get paranoid about it. But it is, after all these years, it is something that I just kind of do automatically. I just gravitate to places that have lots of people around. So one of those things I mentioned because it does get asked a lot. And I think with that, I should probably go do what I have been saying I'm going to do, go find a place to live for the night. Probably just going to go down a few blocks and park in a more populated area, just as I was saying. Don't know where that'll be, but I know that this is definitely a safe part of town, and I'm not afraid to be in Eureka at all. Hopefully I got that across a little bit, and hopefully you found this at least a little bit enjoyable. This has been an absolutely, astoundingly enjoyable day for me. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.